Hello again and welcome back to part 3 of Alicia's Rose Garden crochet along. We're going to carry on with the blanket for the next few rows. I'm not sure how many we'll get onto this video, but obviously now each row is going to take a little bit longer to get round because the blanket's going to grow in size, but we'll carry on with the sample that we've got there from part 1 and part 2. We're going to carry on with the 5mm hook. I'm also going to carry on with the colour scheme that we used before. Just before I go any further, I've actually made a Facebook group and I've linked the group into the description of the videos. It's there for any of you to join. Just send a request to join. You can show your progress, you can ask any questions if you get stuck, or you can just chat amongst yourselves about how you're finding this crochet along. Next colour that I'm going to use is called Cinnamon. It's sort of on a rust shade, I would say, and again it's one of the Mariner's double knit yarns. I'm going to start, as always, with the slip knot onto the hook, and on this row we're going to start a little bit different in the corners, in that we're going to start in a separate corner to which we finished last time, just so that we've not got the ends again, and we're going to do a standing double into that corner chain here. So there's the double, another double, same as we've done previously, with a chain 1 and then 2 doubles into that same corner space. I'm just going to slightly adjust the lighting, it's a little bit better. So we've done the 2 doubles in the corner there, followed by a chain 1 and 2 doubles. We're now going to work front post doubles onto these first 2 stitches of the corner from the previous row. So to do that, we yarn over, go behind the stitch, pick up the loop, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2. We're going to do the same again on the next one. So yarn over, behind the stitch, so we go just before the stitch, behind the stitch, and pick up the loop, bring it forward, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2. So we've got 2 front post doubles here. Into this next stitch now we're going to skip the first half of the V. We're going to work into the V itself. I'm going to work popcorns like we did at the very beginning in the center of the blanket. So it's just 4 doubles, 1, 2, just pull a little bit of the yarn there, 3 and 4, and then we're going to take the hook into the top of the first stitch, pick up that loop, pull it through, pull tight, and then a chain 1 to fasten off. We're then going to, in that same V stitch, we're going to do a single. So it's just pick up 1 loop, yarn over and pull through, and that finishes off the first popcorn there. We skip the next 2 stitches here, which are the sides of the V that we've just worked into, and the next one we're just going to work into the middle of these V stitches. We do exactly the same again, 4 doubles, take the hook out, pop it into the top of that first stitch, pick up that loop and pull it through, pull through to tighten it, and then a chain one to fasten it off, and then into that same V-stitch just a single crochet. So just carry on all the way along until we get to the other side. Into the top of the stitch, pull the loop through, chain one to fasten off, and then a single in the same V-stitch. It just makes the little popcorn stitches, which are the flowers, it just makes them stand proud a little bit more and gives the blanket a little bit more texture. So this row will take a little bit longer than some of the previous rows because we're sort of going backwards and forwards on stitches. One, two, three, and four. Into the top, pick up the loop, pull through, chain one, and then a single. Just pull the yarn up slightly. If you want to keep a track of your stitch count, where we had each of the V's, we'll have a popcorn in each one. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There'll be 11 popcorns on each side. You just go to the end of this first side. Don't worry if your crocheting is a little bit slower than mine. We all crochet at a different speed. And if you're finding that the video is a little bit too fast, if you click on the little cog on the settings on the video, you can actually then click speed, and you can take the speed down slightly to 0.75, which slows the whole thing down, and it just makes it easier sometimes to follow along as we're working the crochet. Or you could take it down to half speed, although the sound is a little bit distorted when you go too slow. There are also subtitles that you can click on so that you've got the subtitles come up on the screen as well. Oops, didn't do the final single on that one. So a single into that same V-stitch. Do the next popcorn. And a single in the same space. We're now on to the last popcorn on this side. Pull the loop through, chain to fasten off, a single down into that same stitch. We've now come to the corner. We're going to skip the second half of the V-stitch that we've just worked into, and we've got 2 stitches now that were part of the corner. We're going to do a front post double around each of these 2 stitches. So back to the front post double, it's yarn over, behind the stitch, pick up the loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and then again exactly the same in the next stitch, another front post double, into that stitch there. So we've got the corner, we've got 2 front post doubles, we've got the popcorns in each of the V stitches. We're now going to work the next corner exactly the same as the first one. Just going to catch that yarn and work 2 doubles, 1 chain and 2 doubles. That's the second corner worked. So we now do exactly the same as we did along this row. We're going to work the 2 front post double crochets on these first 2 stitches. 1 and 2, and then we go straight into the first V and work a popcorn, which is 4 doubles. Excuse me. Take out the hook into the first stitch, pick up the loop, pull through, chain, and then down into the stitch to fasten off. So you're just going to repeat what we've done on the first side. We're going to do that all the way around, not forgetting in the corners we've got 2 doubles, 1 chain, 2 doubles, and then we've got the 2 front post doubles before we start on the next popcorn. So I'll let you pause the video and work all the way around with the popcorns. Just make sure that you've got the right number of popcorns on your row, that you've done 1 in each of the V stitches, and I'll see you when we get to the end of this round. Now finished the final popcorn of this 4th side. We skip the second half of that V. We're just going to do the last 2 front post doubles, and then we're going to join into the top of that first stitch again with a slip stitch, snip off the yarn, pull through and fasten off. So we've now completed row, let me think, row 12. We're going to start now with a new colour. The colour I'm using, I think I would describe it as a pale mustard. It's definitely darker than cream. I would say it's like a light mustard, and I'm going to start in the corner before the one that we've just fastened off there. Again, we're working the 2 doubles into that 1 chain corner space. We've got 1 and 2, chain 1, and then we do 2 more doubles into that same space. We've now got 4 stitches before the popcorn. We're going to work a front post double on all 4 of these. So it's a front post double around the 2 stitches from the corner, and then we're going to do a front post double around the 2 front post doubles from the previous row. So we've got 4 front post doubles after the corner stitches there. We're going to skip this popcorn. We're going to do a V stitch into the space between the 2 popcorns. So if you look there, we've got a space between those 2, and that's where we're going to do the V. So we've got 1 stitch, 1 double, 1 chain and another double into that same space there. So we're actually doing a V in the opposite way to the previous row. We've got the V's there with the popcorn in. We're now doing a V in between, so we get an inverted, on the inverted V we've got the new V in that space. Skip the next popcorn and again V stitch into that next space. There's no chains in between, we go straight into the next space and work another V-stitch. We're going to just carry on all the way along this row, working one V-stitch in between each of the popcorns. It's a nice easy row that you don't really have to think about too much. Just working the V in between each popcorn. Gives it a nice little frame. I think the popcorns remind me of little rosebuds. And when you come to the last popcorn here, we don't do a V after the popcorn. We're going to go straight onto these stitches, the front post stitches from the previous row, and we're going to do a front post in each of those front post stitches, another front post double, a front post double around the 2 stitches from the corner of the previous row, and then we're at the corner space here, and we're going to do 2 doubles, 1 chain and 2 doubles. We're then ready to start the second side, which is exactly the same as we've just done along this row. We're going to work a V, we're going to work the 4 front post stitches first. We've got 1, oops, 2, just pull those ends out of the way, and then 1 each in each of the front posts from that last row there. And then we skip the popcorn and go straight into the space in between and work the first V. And then again it's just 1 V in each of the spaces between the popcorns all the way along this row. And you can see now that the blanket's squared off nicely, and there's no frilling or ruffling at all as it's pulled itself into shape. So I'll let you carry on if you want to pause the video and let you work your V-stitches all the way around the next 3 sides with just a V-stitch in between each of the popcorns. When you get to the last popcorn, we don't do a V-stitch after the last one, we go straight into the 4 front post doubles. And just work this to the end of this row. Seem to have a little bit of a knot in the yarn there. And then we've reached the last popcorn. We don't do another V, we go straight into the 4 front post doubles. There's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we're back at the next corner where we work into the 1 chain space there with the 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles. So I'll let you carry on all the way around and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I've now come round to the very last of the 4 front post doubles and we're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that first stitch, snip off the yarn, pull through and fasten off. So you've now got the 2 corner 2 double crochets with the chain 1 in between. We've got 4 front post doubles, and then we've got 10 V-stitches along this row. So the next stitch I'm going to use cream, and it's another quite easy row to do. We're going to start in the corner stitch, slip knot onto the hook, and then a standing double. We've got the same corner as the last row, where we've got 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles. We're now going to work 6 of the front post doubles, so we'll do 1 round each of the 2 doubles from the last row, and then 1 round each of the 4 front post doubles again from the previous row. So we've got 6 altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we go straight into the V-stitch here. We're going to work 3 doubles in each of these V-stitches. So skip the first half of the V and just work straight into that 1 chain space of the V and work 3 doubles, straight across into the next one and work 3 doubles. We're just going to do this all the way along this row, working 3 doubles in each of the V-stitches. And then when we get to the last V, we'll work the 3 doubles and then work 6 front post doubles, 1 each over the next of the next 6 stitches. It doesn't really take too much concentration to do this row. So we've done the last of the 3 doubles in the last V. We're just now going to work a front post double around each of the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, the last 2 around the 2 doubles from the previous corner. 1 and 2, so we've got 6 altogether, and then straight into the corner space, just working over the tail ends of the yarn there as well. We're going to work 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles into that corner. And it's exactly the same for the next 3 sides, that we've got the 2 doubles from the previous corner where we're going to work a front post double, and then we've got 4 front post doubles, and we just do 1 front post double in each of those 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we've got 6 front post doubles all together there, and then we just work the 3 doubles into each of the V stitches all the way along. So I'll let you pause the video here and you can carry on working the next 3 sides, and I'll meet you at the end of this row to fasten off. So that completes row 14. We're now going to join back in the colour that we used here to square off the blanket, which is a very pale orange tone that I'm using here. On this row we're just going to work a double in every stitch. So again, we're going to start in the corner working the 2 doubles. So I'm doing a standing double followed by a double, chain 1, and we do 2 more doubles. On this row we're not going to work into that first stitch that's a little bit hidden. We're going to work 1 double in each stitch all the way along until we get to the other side. So a double in each of these front post doubles, and then a double in each of the 3 doubles that were worked into the V-stitch. So just 1 double in every stitch all the way along, and then when you get to the corners it's just the 2 doubles with the chain 1 in between, and then skip the first stitch and work a double all the way along. It's another nice and simple row to do. And just work along to the end of this one, and then I'll let you pause the video and work your doubles all the way around. Just coming to the last set of 3 here. That's 2 and 3, and then we've got the 6 front post doubles. We just do a double into the top of each one of those. And then we've got the 2 doubles from the previous corner. We just do 1 double in each of those 2. And then 2 doubles into the corner space. Oops. Chain 1 and 2 doubles to create the corner. We're going to skip that first stitch there. We're going to work 1 double into each double all the way along. So I'll let you work your double row with the 2 doubles in the corners, skipping that first stitch, and then 1 double all the way along, and I'll see you when we get to the end of this round. Finished the row of doubles. The next row is a row of single crochet, and I'm using the dark brown on this one. So again, slip knot onto the hook into a corner, not the corner that we've just finished on, and we're going to start with a standing single, and because it's a single we've got 2 chain and then a second single. Again, we're going to skip this first stitch here and just work one single in each stitch all the way along. Another nice and easy row, just working one single in every stitch, and then in the corners we've got one single in the corner space, followed by 2 chains and then another single. So if you want to just carry on and work your single all the way around, not forgetting to skip the first stitch after the corner, and we've got one single with 2 chain and a single in each of the 4 corners. So I'll let you pause the video again on this row and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this one. All the way around working the singles, I've just joined with a slip stitch into that first stitch, snip off the yarn and pull through. We're now going to repeat row 7, which is the long puff stitch, and I'm going back to the same colour that we used previously on that row, which is this one here with the begonia. So we're going to start with the usual corners with 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles. So go into a different corner, find the corner chain, and we'll work a standing double followed by a regular double, chain 1 and then 2 more doubles in that same stitch. We're now going to skip this first stitch here, and we're going to do the puff stitch into the next stitch. So we pick up a loop, yarn over, I'll start again there, we're going to yarn over into the stitch, pick up a loop, yarn over into the stitch, pick up a loop, yarn over into the stitch, pick up a loop, yarn over, and then we're just going to go through these 6 loops, leaving that 1 loop on the hook. So yarn over through 6, yarn over through 2, and then a chain 1. We're going to skip the next stitch and then work a puff stitch again, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over through the 6, leaving 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and through those 2 and chain 1. We're going to do that all the way along this row. So I'll stop the video and let you catch up until you're at the end of this side with the puff stitches, working a puff stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, puff stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch and puff stitch all the way across to the other side. Get to the end of the row, we'll have 2 stitches spare, so we're going to skip both of those 2 stitches and we're going to do the corner 2 doubles, 1 chain and 2 doubles. And along this row we'll have 24 puff stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So if you want to carry on and work the next side, skip a stitch, work the puff stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch and work the puff stitch, and again you'll have 24 puff stitches along the side. On the last stitches before you reach the corner you'll skip 2 stitches instead of the 1. So if you want to pause the video again and work those puff stitches all the way around, and then on the last corner you'll just slip stitch into the first double of the corner to fasten off, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this row. Now we've got round to the final puff stitch on this side. We skip the 2 stitches there and we're going to join into that first stitch with a slip stitch, snip off the yarn and pull through. There's just one final row for this part of the crochet along, and we're going back to do the same as we did on row 8, and I should be using white again as we did after the puff stitches on that one. We're going to work 2 doubles in each of the corners, and then we'll be working 2 doubles in between each of the puff stitches. So again, I'm going to start with a slip knot onto the hook into the corner space and work the 2 doubles with a chain 1 and then 2 doubles. We're going to skip the 2 stitches here of the corner and then straight into the chain space, the space between the 2 doubles and the first puff stitch. We're going to work 2 doubles and then straight into the next chain space and work 2 doubles. So we've got no chains along here, we're just going to do the 2 doubles in each of the chain spaces between the puff stitches. Again, a nice simple row to finish off this part of the journey. Just mention as well that you can stop your project at any point that you like. You don't have to carry on right through to the end. If you wanted to make a cushion cover, this would probably be about the size at the moment now to make a cushion cover if you wanted to, or you can carry on and join me for the next part, which will be part 4, and I'll try and get that uploaded in a few days' time. As I said at the beginning of the video, feel free to join the Facebook group. The link will be in the description of each of the videos, and feel free to upload photos to show what colour themes you've decided to use. And it's amazing how different a project can look when it's worked in different colours. My first sample that I'm working alongside this one is done with pink, purple, greens, a deep turquoise and a colour called grape that all seem to blend in quite nice. I've also got white in that one as well. So we're coming along to the end of this row. I've got the last puff stitch there. We do the 2 doubles in that space and then skip the 2 doubles from the corner into that corner chain stitch and work 2 doubles, a chain 1 and 2 doubles, and then straight over onto the next side, where again we're going to just do the 2 doubles between each of the puff stitches. I won't carry on and show you all of the the doubles on this row. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you'll come back and join me for part 4. I'd just like to say thank you for watching and see you again soon. Bye.